Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Or good evening. Alrighty. Let's kind of do an overhead, I think. Board up here a little bit. Find my glasses. Alrighty, so I got this 8 pill here. Didn't get much of it accomplished as far as through the through the week, but did get all the transformers set as far as on the output and on the input here. Still got to tie up some literally loose ends and stuff like that. So it's a rebuild where we're using the part most of the parts from the original 8 pill that was blowed up. So we've already set the new transistors in place. I went ahead and decided to go ahead and just put a new relay in there. Um, you're only looking about $100 at that point. So yeah, why not? So got a new copper board, cleaned it up, kind of did a kind of a crisscross pattern, but it wound up being more criss than crisscross. But hello, Bruce. Well, hello, Jeremy. Mr. Donkey Stomper. Good evening time. Let's see. Can you use them? Let's see here. Do 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 do. Yeah, 3 made sent me a message here. So, alrighty. Good evening time, David. Yeah, we're just kind of kick back, relaxing a little bit here before bed. Thankfully, I don't have to work tomorrow. So, but originally this was a Toshiba amplifier. So, we went ahead and made some alterations since we pulled everything apart. All of our capacitors here had to get changed to different values. We had to increase the capacitance for the swamping capacitors on the transformers. So we got that all taken care of. Now we got to make a couple of combiners and start putting some other pieces and parts together and all that other fun stuff. The main power board, I think I can still reuse the other one that's in there, but I wanted to go ahead and try to get everything else all tucked away and put in there before I set everything. So, and I should have plenty of room in between here and the transformers. So, just want to try to get as much little stuff done before we stick it down into the cabinet itself. Went ahead and cut off a piece of coax there because I'm just going to go ahead and make new ones for the input and the outputs. I'll set that off to the side here because I want to get this taken care of first. But hopefully everybody's had a good Saturday afternoon. The weather started out kind of crappy on my way into work this morning, but it turned out to be a beautiful day by the time I got off. But I was a little on the tired side. I was going to try to rustle the bike out of the garage and get it ready for in the morning and go for a ride, but well, I guess we'll pull it out tomorrow. We'll just leave it in the garage and go from there. But I do want to get some riding in this year. I didn't even get to go one time last year because of my arms, or they were messed up. So are you on call this weekend, Bruce? Or are they actually going to leave you alone? Well, I guess Bruce got out of there. Well, they call him all hours of the day and night for his job. Thankfully, I don't have to worry about that. I'm not that wanted of a man. Cinch down here real good. I decided to just go ahead and do new combiners as well. I'm just rewrapping the old ferrite. There's nothing wrong with ferrite. It just, you can change the wire out. Try to make it look even nicer than what it did during the original first build, or it's been rebuilt a couple of different times where it gets a little long-winded sometimes. And changes his mind, so Bruce, you still in there, buddy, or you go to work? Figured old three mate would be in here. I know he's sorting parts right now. Trying to catch the live stream. My son's. Ah, okay. And I recognize that tone. That is the wife. She got up early today to start on paperwork. It's the wife. Yep. See what it says here. Bear with me. Got history. Ah, there we go. So what's everybody been up to today? Anything good? A lot of lazing and gardening. I actually wanted to do a garden this year, but unfortunately, Still don't know when I would have time to mess with a garden. So I'm just going to have to rely on some good old farmer's market vegetables for my fresh vegetables this year again. Thankfully, we've got two of them that are like super, super close to me. So one of them, if I wasn't so lazy, I could walk a mile up the road and get what I want. But I'm too fat. Oh, you're right there. All righty. Well, anyways, Brucey, I got get a hold of it here. Got a little excess here that popped up on there, but anyhow, um, we got your high voltage board made up for you, so you're good to go there. And one of your orders for parts that you needed actually came in, where we had to special order these. I'm pretty sure what we found out on the other. Let's see, made it about 80 connects in the party. Hello, Mr. Black Duck, Chad, and Chad. Back to normal. Huh. Okay. Anyways, I'm pretty sure when we spoke on the phone, Bruce, I think you said you needed a 24 volt AC. So we do have the relay in, timed relay. That way we can set set our time for that. So should work relatively well for what you got going on. But that came in today as well. And then I also have one other thing that's done for you there. For your high voltage. You got your new cap bank with your uh, yeah, for the meters. As far as that goes, we've got that worked out. So that should be according to the other print. That should be right. We've got your 10 watt 2 ohm. I don't remember where that went on your SB, but like I said, we got your new cap bank made. Like I said, looks a whole lot better than what you brought me, and what's left of the original board. So the new caps don't seem to match up with the ones from 50 years ago on the pinouts. So like I said, we laid it all out and drilled nice little holes and mounted everything, got it all nice and secure. I put some thermal paste. It's an thermal paste adhesive, basically, is what it is. I went ahead and put those underneath the caps as well to help with any kind of vibration, what have you, and put you two new mounting tabs on this. So, like I said, should be good to go for another million miles or another 30 or 40 years. Should outlast either one of us. Yeah, yeah, I don't play with a whole lot, Chad, but if somebody sends me in a board or something like that, I'll rebuild the board and let them do the Harry Carey stuff. Yeah, I try not to mess with that Harry Carry stuff. I can do it, but I just don't like to. You know, it gets kind of iffy on some things. I mean, granted, I know I've like today, I've been playing with 480 volts at, like 600 amps, stuff like that. But an industrial setting is a little different format. When you start looking at the industrial side of it, granted, I know that, in some instances, which at my other job, I did have to deal with, DC voltage that, did have some extremely large capacitors for the furnaces and stuff like that on the high voltage and things like that, where, we were taking the three phase, 480 and, boosting it up into a DC, DC voltage, and then running it into the heaters for the furnaces. 99N1. Yeah. From what I've seen, I kind of like those radios a little bit, with what little I've got to play with them. Unfortunately, I've not had a whole lot of extra time. That's part of the reason why I've not been working on radios as much as I normally, or as much as I used to. I'll put it that way. Um, just because of the, time with work and with the wife and everything. Well, hello, Mr. Carlock. Good evening time. Glad to see you in there. I need to trim them down, but we'll get to that point. I want to get those soldered in back here and get those laid down here. That way I can bring in the power bar, and it's going to be a whole lot easier. And then I'll worry about putting the capacitors and stuff in there based on what I have to do to get around all the other. So I didn't have to fight taking the other wires here. Again, it's another one of those that it's just easier to just install some new wires as far as for the for the hookup to power up the 8-pill. I am going to put a delay. I'm not going to necessarily put biasing in this. I don't think he wanted bias, but I am going to put him a delay in this so that if he decides that, you know, he wants to run it occasionally, he can still do so. In case he changes his mind. Actually, I think since those are long enough, I actually stretch those out right here. Yeah, yeah, 3. I am using a different soldering station than my normal. You know, I've been running a Weller for, you know, right around the 20-year mark or so, and you know, I decided to actually go over to and try it since I got a heck of a deal on it. I went ahead and picked up the Thermaltronics, like what you've got. You know, I know you keep saying that, you know, how much you like it and everything. You know, I know you've been trying to talk me into using one, and since the one deal was, you know, pretty good, like new, you know, I think it was 150 bucks. Um, you know, I've tried it and I seem to like it pretty good. The tips have been, the tips have been holding up pretty good. I bought a couple of new tips for it. Of course, it came with some, but they were all for, you know, the smaller stuff as far as working on radios and things like that. But I didn't have any that were at least big enough. But you know, again, so far so good. It's still kind of hard for me to get used to. I'm used to looking over there and seeing a big display lit up on the old one that I've got. Just don't have enough fingers. So far, I'm liking it. I tried to change out the LED, but unfortunately, it takes a special LED. It's not just a standard 2-wire LED, it's 3. And they make 2 different versions. They make what they call a common cathode and a common anode. Um, Unfortunately, the drawer I've got some, but I don't remember if it's common anode or common cathode. Where it's got the because it's actually got a I guess a protection circuit built into it, where it'll change the LED from green to a different color. And I was hoping to change it to a different color other than just the common green that's in there, mainly because of the fact that I don't notice it and I forget to shut it off. You know, so it's been on before for like a couple of days out here in the shop. Now, granted, you know, one of the things that's kind of nice is the fact that it does have a cool down if you don't use it within a certain period of time, you know, or once you put it back into the stand. But um, I still don't like the idea of it being on. You know, granted, I do have a flip switch if I remember to use it. You know, that I've got over here, but this, you know, on the other side of my workbench right here, just out of sight, where I can just flip the switch and it shuts down. You know, the soldering iron, the desoldering iron, you know, the watt meters, and basically any of the major stuff that would be hot is all plugged into that one outlet. You know, so that whenever I flip the switch, anything that's hot that I would be concerned with or worry about can be shut off. Yes, yes, high voltage, high voltage. What did I do with that? Yeah, seen this and I couldn't help myself. I had to order it. Yeah. What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger, except electricity. That definitely kills you. I thought I would, figured I'd put that on my toolbox at work. A lot of the guys have got different little logos and what have you. And yeah, I seen that when I thought, yeah, it's kind of cool. You know, electricity will definitely kill you. There is no if, ands, or buts about it. Yeah, three maid's gotten quiet again on me, so he's back to sorting parts. But yeah, my wife, she's got a bunch more stuff now that she I don't know if she needs it. She thinks she needs it. It's one of those I need to talk to the lawyer before I spend 8 hours of hunting for more documents that I thought I was through with. Because I mean, I've already sit there and hunted up like 200 documents that I've had to scan into the system, send them here, send them there, then go back and um, you know gather them all up and actually take them to China personally. So that's been that was a job. I'm not gonna lie, that was a job, guys. Turn my fan up here a little bit. I haven't got the AC in here yet. I should have. It's already April or already May, but yeah, I'll wait and have the daughter help me. And it's funny how $10 pair of wire strippers, you know, have outdone some of the other ones that I've used. You know, I got to give Donkey Stomper props for you know talking me back into trying these, um, which actually works. Funny enough, they actually work the best I've seen on this Teflon wire. So oddly enough, I was looking into different ones that were designed specifically for Teflon, and they were extremely expensive. They were about $300 for a set. Um, and it's like, geez, Pete's. So that's the main reason why I never did buy any, because that's a lot of beans and rice, guys. Yeah, I've actually got a pair of the Kleins. The only thing I don't like about the Kleins is no spring return. It's the one thing I don't like about them. I don't remember which brand these are. Um, because these are as sharp as a razor. Um, they are really sharp. These are pretty sharp, but they've got the return spring, which is what I am used to having. So it's easier for me to keep, know how much pressure I've got. These, I can't feel it. Um, I hate to say that, but whenever I go down and try to feel right where I'm at, by that time it's usually too late, and I've already cut through the wire. So but that's what I actually bought first on that Chad was the Klein version. And like I said, these are, I mean, these things are sharp as a razor. I mean, these are awesome, but without that return spring, it was hard for me to feel, when to say stop. So, and I've looked into trying to take, because I've got my old pair from like the 90s. I've looked into actually taking the spring off of the old pair I've got. Like I said, that are from the 90s, and because they're trash. Um, they don't cut right anymore. I've tried sanding and filing them. They're just shot. But I thought about taking the rivets and stuff out and seeing whether or not I couldn't attach those to the Klein, so that I've got a little bit of resistance, to go with that, so that I can feel it a little bit easier. But still got them. Like I said, super great as far as on the Klein, but they are just too damn sharp. Um, and I really don't want to unsharpen them. But that'll be another project. I'll take them apart. Yeah, they kind of do, but once you put that's part of the reason why I like the spring is the fact that they only open up as far as I open my hand. And unless I force my fingers straight, my hands always stay curled. And I know that's a little on the excess on this, but like I said, I'll figure out what my length is, and I'll cut off the excess and make these the same. But I gave myself probably about 2 inches more than I should have. I kind of sort of stole part of your idea there, three made. You can kind of see it. One way it's a little darker than the other as far as instead of doing the circles. I actually tried to do a checkerboard on mine. But it's a new old board that I had, and apparently this board didn't have clear coat on it, so it didn't look real nice. It was a brand new board, but I went ahead and buffed it and cleaned it so that I could go ahead and keep going with this. Since then, I've ordered some for stock because I usually try to keep a couple of different size boards on hand as far as for the 2, the 4. I think I've got A6, and then usually a couple of the 8 pill boards. So that whenever they do just get too nasty to really work with, I can go back and redo them. So that, or if the board itself is damaged, I've seen that, or they've come in and they've been under some serious destruction slash repair. You know, where it's been to 4 or 5 different places and it's been fixed 8 or 10 times, and all that good snazzy stuff. Sometimes it's just easier to yank everything out because you don't know what's going on and just go through it bit by bit. And at that point, if you're pulling all the transformers and everything, it's really not that much more trouble to just pull the whole circuit board and just drop a new one on there and call it a day, versus doing all the other work. And if anybody's interested, I do have one ready. It's a little 2 pill, MRF 421 with the HG transistors in it. It does about the same as a 2879. Of course, I put a preamp in it. On occasions, I've got people that want a preamp, and I usually build a pretty decent preamp. I think it's not super noisy. It brings your signal up about 2 units. You have Fred Sanford hands too, huh? All right, let me cut one more piece because I didn't cut enough. So, Chad, have you got use any of your blue yet? I know you've got all kinds of RG316 over there. I've still got about 300 feet of the blue and about 650 feet of the tan left. So I won't be running out of 316 probably for another year, unless I sell a whole bunch. Oh, you've already started using it? Well, I know you had, quite a bit of the other stuff you had on hand, so I didn't know if you'd had a chance to start using on it or not. I do apologize. I mean, I've, you know, got to watch like a minute here and a minute there of some of your videos because of, work on my end and everything. So it's been, pretty busy over here. I know you've got vacation coming up and a couple of other. I think you've got a couple more big ones to build, don't you? Or are you through building, the 32s, the 48s, the 64s, the 120? Oh, yeah, yeah. Did you ever get the 120 pill yet? Finished up? You got all the big ones done for now, including the 120 pill that somebody ordered last week. Are you sure? Somebody's dying to have you build one. Yeah, I know. I know everybody hit you up for big ones there right around the first of the year, man. I know you were pulling your hair out over that. They're cool. Definitely a cool factor. I can honestly say that I have never built a 128 pill, nor do I ever plan to build anything even close to that. 11111. Well, hello, truck. Yeah, I wouldn't want to build the power. Well, yeah, I would like to build the power supply for one, but I wouldn't want to build the amp. Well, we got all kinds of people popping in here that I haven't talked to in a long time. That's some great news. I like seeing some of the old friends that I haven't talked to in a while. Well, Truck's usually like me. He's working his tail end off. I know Chad is. In some ways, I kind of miss being out here full time, to be honest with you guys. But for some reason, that insurance seems to play a key factor. That's the only thing, is if you work for yourself, what they want to hit you for monetarily for insurance and stuff, guys. I mean, it is insane to work for yourself. Even if it's just a one or two person operation, as far as you and the wife, or significant other, or what have you. What they hit us up for to try to have insurance and things like that. It's just it's just insane. It really is. That's the main reason why, like I said, I decided to go back to work full time, and then put this back down to part time. And let's see here. Yeah, thought I'd done away with all the feedbacks because they're all, well, they were all completely destroyed. So I'm just trying to reuse what I can, and then, like I said, the rest of it we'll just make all new. But I know that all the feedbacks got burnt out on this. I mean, it was must have been a hell of a ride. Yeah, I get this done, and I've got one small little job, and then we're going to start working the 32 pill. We're going to start working that into the to the mix as well. Pt2 Texas Star. Hello, Ruben. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. And I haven't quite, and a lot of it's where I've not went back and truly studied it. But I know you're right on that, Chad, as far as the 14.2. And part of the reason why I have to agree with you on that is they use a very unusual biasing system as far as Texas Star. That's part of that reason, and what it amounts to. And you can watch and play with that. For example, if you got a little 2 pill Texas Star, because it's the same whether it's 2 pill, 4, the 5 pill, 8 pill. They use the same same method all the way through. But the way the biasing is set up on that, as you increase your main voltage, your bias voltage goes up as well. And now I played around a little bit here the other day because of that. It's one of those where I haven't, I've played with it, but I haven't played with it enough to see if I can compensate for a portion of that. But you can install a diode to help. It's not going to alleviate, but it will help reduce the voltage drive that they put on the Texas Stars. Um, with that, so that's one of the things with that. If you go from, let's say, 14 volts on your input, you may have let's say 3.5 volts. You go to 14.2, and it'll go from 0.35 up to 0.38 or 0.39. 14.5, you're hitting the scale at 0.39 to 0.4 volts. which now if you have converted it over to the HGs, for an example, you're actually at critical mass. Your top end that you want for the HGs, whenever I was going through the HGs originally, whenever they first came out, you really didn't want to get much above the 0.335 to 0.38. Anything above that, basically the transistors would start to detonate, yes, and they get very hot. So that's the reason why with the Texas Star, um, for the most part on the, because of the way we do our biasing, which is different, um, you can increase the voltage a little bit and it doesn't have a huge effect. And you'll kind of see that in one of my voltage dividers circuits that I built and played around with on Patreon. So when you go over there and look at the voltage dividers on Patreon, you'll see, where I increase and decrease, the voltages and stuff like that based on, relative numbers. Um, so when you look at the way we do it versus the way they do it, the voltage, the voltage once it hits a certain pull down, um, you have to go in huge jumps in order to change, the fragmented amount that we're using. Texas Star, every little bit changes the overall aspect of the um, yeah, every little bit changes the overall aspect of what the biasing is on that. So that's part of the reason why Texas Star is very, 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 very finicky about that input voltage. And back when we first started messing with the HGs, I honestly I wouldn't build a power supply over 14.2. Um, just because there again, we were all into, a brand new circuit, which has been what, roughly 8 years, you know, since we've all pretty well went full force into it. It's been about 8 years now into the HG world. And, at first, because of all the things that I'd seen with it, I was kind of reluctant, to run things up like everybody was doing, to get more power. This is not Star Trek. We can't keep hollering at Scotty, and asking for more power. There is a point where, if you need more, you need to have something built bigger, you know. Um, to be brutally honest with you. Just like right now, I've been in the mix for the last 6 months building, building another amplifier for myself for here at the shop. The one I built, very, very happy with the output power, very happy with the performance. But like everybody else, I want more. So, back to the drawing board and to a bigger amplifier. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. The 15.8, 15.5, 15.8. I've seen some guys that, they're running those things all the way up to what, 16, 16.1. And and they're right back into the shop that, built them, in a matter of days or within a matter of a couple of weeks, um, because of, just too much. Again, there is only so much that, you can actually put into those, and they will, hold together. I think, if I remember right, I watched you do a video, um, just here a few weeks ago, explaining the differences in regard, in respect to, the differences in the voltage. I think you built one in particular for a guy because, of a certain window of output power he needed for a driver, where you actually turn down the voltage on the power supply. It is a base, but it's a power supply. So, that's another one of those, going back to, keeping things within a certain parameter. Um, and well, everybody that earns a dollar understands just what it means to earn that dollar, especially in today's world where, we're getting raked over the coals by the government for everything. Would really like to have a something or another. Oh, 43500Z amp. Well, you can get one. I do know a few good guys that can build you such a creature. Da, 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 da. Gonna start getting into my stash here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's another thing too that I have looked and looked and looked and looked and still continue looking. Some good 0.1 UF caps that are small like this. I am still on the hunt of a good replacement that's pretty much the same size of this. I mean, I've got some blue ones, and they do work, but they're just not heavy duty enough for my taste. Um, and I've used them. I still will use them, but I really would like to find some that are, more in respect to what I've got here. I bought a company out about 4 years ago, and I bought everything that he had. He had, I think it was 5 floors of nothing but electronic stuff like this that he was selling, and I bought every single point 0.1 UF cap like this that he had anywhere that I could find. Um, and again, would love to buy. If I could buy another 5,000 of them, I'd buy another 5,000 of them. But I have been using and using and using on these, and down to just a few hundred left, and just have not been able to find. Just haven't been able to find the holy grail and find exactly what I want. I've tried, tried talking to some different places over in China, and can't get I can't get what I want built. You know, um, I did find I did find some that are close, and they are ungodly in price. Um, oops, these are some 103s. I found some 103s that are exactly what I want, but I want 104s, not 103s. But you're also looking at, if you're buying like 1,000 or 1,500 at a time, where my cost used to be 25 cents a piece. Now these are like $1.50 a piece. So, just I'm just not having the luck to find what I want, and within a respectable price. That seems to be the major that seems to be the major thing right now is just trying to find, components because where everything has started going to all this SMD and SMT stuff, um, the components that we're used to getting, physical size wise and everything else. And, certain things, the small ones are awesome. Don't get me wrong. But in an RF application, you know, when they say size doesn't matter, size does matter because depending on the design of something as simple as a cap, you need the heat displacement. It's not the fact that it can't handle the voltage. Um, for example, I do have some point 0.1 UFs that I bought, and a lot of it has to do with where and how they're being used. Um, and I've actually used these in industrial applications. That's the reason why I know these will actually hold up. And technically, I could use these for feedbacks, but they're so doggone small for a feedback. But that little part there, which, there's my pinky nail. Believe it or not, these parts are rated for 1,000 volts a piece, and I know it'll take 1,000 volts. We're not looking at any amperage that we're actually going to be drawing through these, but believe it or not, these will take 1,000 volts, as small as what that is. Um, reason why is I've got a test meter that I use that I hand built to take, essentially 1,000 volts. And, most commonly I use it on 480, but to go ahead and test and hook up the oscilloscope safely through a series of these to come up with the voltage that I need at the end in order to go ahead and do a division. So I know those will handle. I know those will handle, especially when you start putting those in series. They'll handle a large amount of voltage, but they won't handle amperage. Okay, I may leave all the supplies unmounted. 2 volts too much. Yeah. Yep, that's it, Chad. Just enough to turn it on. Oh Lord. 3 made. What are we gonna do with you, buddy? Think life's hell now. Wait until the wife gets here and I take some time off and come visit you again. I'll bring my wife down there and you'll be up shit creek when it's done. Of course, I'll let you know a couple of weeks in advance before I come. That way, hopefully you'll be able to uh, have a bedroom ready. I did have a spare room until my daughter moved back in. But the other nice thing too is since she's moved in, I've still got 2 places yet to touch up upstairs, but finally got most of the walls painted upstairs that need to be. There's 2 places that I went ahead and had to redo some spackling on the walls because I didn't like the fact that one of them cracked a little bit. So I went ahead and redid that area and retaped it and all that good stuff. But I get the hallway finished up for upstairs, and then I'm gonna start on the other spare room. Just I got to figure out where to put all that stuff because I've still got a lot of radio stuff in that room. Since my daughter's there, I can't just move it across the hall like I had intended. And I really don't want to leave it lay out where the cats can get on top of it and, fill it with cat hair. So by the way, I'm going to take a play out of your playbook here in just a few minutes. There are 3 made with the feedbacks. I am going to put them in the same way I've seen you do on a couple of different amplifiers. It's one of those things that, and I don't know why, because it's not a big deal to actually do it, but it seems like none of us like dealing with the feedbacks. It's not the fact that they're hard. It's not the fact that, it's not part of it and what have you, but for whatever reason, nobody likes messing with feedbacks for some reason. So I'll get this first one trimmed and then I'll know how much to do for the other side here. I'm actually going to lay these in here at an angle like I've seen 3 do. See if I can mimic it. You've been doing that for years. Next March 7th and 8th. Okay. Well, I definitely do want to do that. I've got, the company that I'm working for, Chad. I've got basically up until first week in April to use up my 2 weeks vacation time. So, that is part of my plan is I'm going to use a couple of days for the wife, which, by the way, um, hopefully we'll get some hearts on this one. But we've got a set date for my wife's final interview, which is June 25th. So as soon as we get the, as soon as she gets through that, hopefully within 30 days, she'll be able to get her visa and she will be here. Hello, TJ. I know a resistor, it doesn't matter which way they get turned, but I usually try to always set them the same direction each time. Doesn't always happen, but I try. I didn't know you were building a clock 3 made. Whoa, 6.9. You must be referring to when we stay up all hours of the night and day. Yeah, I got to work this morning, 3 made, and I seen where you had posted a video at like, you know, half hour before before I had to actually be at work. And I thought to myself, what in the world are you doing up this late? Of course, I can't say much because I was right there with you guys working the third shift, and now that I'm on day shift, my hours have changed. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. Surprised Buddy Gary hasn't been in there. We probably got him down on the boulevard somewhere. Let's scoot that one over just a fraction. I am glad to see summer finally make it here. Jeez, oh Pete's guys, that's been ridiculous. You know, this crazy weather that we've been getting. You get more sleep. Yeah, the sad part of it is I'm getting more sleep on day shift than I was on night shift, and I actually still feel more tired. If that makes any sense. I don't know if it's because I've worked third shift for so many hours or for so many years, so many hours, yeah. So many years. Just don't like that one. Just don't like the way that one's laying in there. Go straight to voicemail. Yeah, I know you and I talked about that. Well, part of it's the fact that I didn't have to wind anything 3 May. That's part of what helped me out. Um, like I said, the input and output transformers, they were already pre-wound along with the combiners. So there really wasn't anything for me to do as far as other than just physically place those back on the board. That's the main reason why I'm able to get as far along as what I have with this. So the other side of that too is I still got to put a couple of resistors on these, get that taken care of. Now you're still working on that pre-made. You're still working on that 8 pill right now as we're on the air, right? A 1x2 bass driver. Man, I haven't seen one of those built in like 8 years, dude. A 1x2 bass. I remember when those things were so popular, it wasn't funny. I had a little hearts in the way of that one. I can't quite read that one there, Chad. Then I got to do the 16 pill to go with 4 pill. Yeah, like I said, I haven't seen a 1x2 bass done in, God, it's been at least 8 or 10 years. I always thought those were neat as all get out. But for the guys that were running the Cobra 29s and the 148s and stuff like that back in the day for their bases, that's actually a very vicious little amp when you build those. I know the last 1x2 mobile that I built for a guy. Um, Believe it or not, what worked really well for me, and it may not be the right drive for what you're working on, but one of the best ones that I did was I used, regular 2290, for the driver, and then I used two of the HGCs, which actually worked out really well, mainly because of the fact that you know how sensitive it is whenever you've got the 1x2 driver. Um, because you had the two C's in there where they require more physical drive to bring the current or to bring the wattage up, it was actually easier to control it on the variable for the 1 pill. Um, because of the fact that take a little bit more input drive to begin with. So, that's what I did on it. But that, that worked out awesome, whenever I did that. I think I can set that right there. And then come out here. May actually set that up. Set that up over here. I want to try to. I want to try to leave this two pill section here where if he changes his mind at a later date, I can go back and add it and then bring it over here to the inductor. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I've been using this thermal paste for just about everything here lately. It does take a while for it to set up, but it sticks really well. Need to put a little more on that right there. But it sticks really well. But what's also nice is the removal. And, not only does it have a thermal, it's a thermal compound, which means that it's going to help pull and draw heat out. And in this case, down to the copper board to disperse it. It acts as a very good insulator uh, for RF in this application. So, okay. Ah, okay. Fat girl to clean your basement. Yeah, I can't wait to see that because, like I said, man, I haven't seen a bass like that in, like I said, years. The popular one back in the day was the Dave made 1x2, which that used and that was one of the things that, the reason why I've seen so many of those come into the shop was back in the day when uh, most of what we had to work on had the old iron core transformers in it. And most every builder knows that if it had an iron core transformer in there, you were going to be working on that thing a lot, especially on a especially on a 1x2. That was very, very common to constantly have to fix those. But now that we've got the, new age with uh, these power supplies and stuff that we've got available to us, they don't burn up near as fast. The old Dave made, man, I don't know how many of those I used to fix back in the day. Jeez, oh Pete's, you know. Everybody said, "Oh, but it does 700 watts. It does 700 watts." Yeah, but it's always in the shop. You know, you can't run 18 volts on that forever, guys. It's not really designed for that. There just wasn't enough. There just wasn't enough load on those on those iron cores for that. a little heavy on this one side. All right. Okay, guys. Well, I've got to a good stopping point for the evening, so I am going to stop, which, wow, I didn't realize I've been out here for an hour and a half. But I got to a good stopping point. I'll go ahead and let this one dry overnight, and then we'll get this down to the case. I've got to make the inductors, and then I will, set this one in place where I want it. Once I've got the inductors made, because I got to go through and calculate all that for the input and the output, make new inductors because I'm not going to use the old ones. The one, I don't even know where the other one is, but the other one for the input's still in the bag. But and I want to go ahead and get that all set up and then kind of go from there. But all right, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming out here and staying with us for a while. Let's see here. What's Donkey Stomper saying here? Saying that so you can run the 1x2x64. Be long-winded. Yes, you can. And do the 1x2x16 by 64. Yeah, 1x16. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can do all different variations with that. So you've got a lot of different levels. By doing it doing it in that format. Which I know back in the day, a 1x2 was considered ideal. The ideal driver for a 16 pill. But with the high powered radios we've got, the two pill, you really don't need a driver as far as a 1x2. Just run straight radio drive into a two pill. Actually does enough drive, for your 16 pill, for everyday use. And I've tried to tell that to several people, but the 4x16, that's a bit much. It really is. But all right, guys, I appreciate it. Like I said, I didn't plan on staying out here quite this long, but we got long-winded and got quite a bit done. So, all right, guys, take care. Have a great evening. 73s, everyone. Take care. God bless. We'll catch you on the next feed.